Depending on what you consider terrifying, today might just shock your psyche. Just so we all have the same context going into this, the White Lady is the name of the ghost that haunts the Union Cemetery in Easton, Connecticut. Most locals believe her to be the ghost of Harriet Seeley, whose young son passed shortly after being born, with Harriet herself passing soon afterwards. Legend believes she may have died in hopes of finding her son and still wanders their final resting place searching him out. Whereas other folks believe the White Lady is the ghost of a woman from the 1940s who, well, she killed her husband and later took her own life and is now doomed to wander the graveyard. Her physical description is the one thing that remains consistent. She is a young woman wearing a white dress with, well, dark hair. Many who have witnessed her believe they have almost hit her with their vehicle, only to find no trace of her once they pull over. Others claim they have often seen her hovering slightly above the ground around the cemetery, going back and forth amongst different gravestones. So Ed Warren was obsessed with her, and he went on record a lot of times being like, "I am determined to capture footage of this elusive lady." And allegedly he was able to do so, but then he kept the tape for himself. He hoarded it like it held the secrets to the universe, like it was proof of alien life. Now, ever since the passing of both Ed and Lorraine, their son-in-law, Tony Spera, has released the footage in its entirety to YouTube, and the tape shows an apparent white human figure moving behind some tombstones. And similar to most UFO footage, most Bigfoot footage, Loch Ness Monster, etc., the figure is at that perfect distance and resolution so you can see a shape, but you can't ID anything. Well, enter a woman named Judith Penny, who helped Ed allegedly maintain his reputation by faking this. So when he claimed to have captured the White Lady on tape in the summer of 1990, after allegedly camping out in the graveyard for a week, allegedly Judith was the mystical being spotted on tape, masking herself with a classic white sheet. Well, this next video is blurred on YouTube to protect the identity of the poor girl. I personally think it's up there as one of the most frightening things I've ever seen. At an hour and 20 minutes long, it depicts a Catholic bishop in Connecticut attempting to converse with a demonic entity that has possessed the body of an innocent young woman, while her family restrains her. Ed and Lorraine were the ones to alert the church to the possession after meeting this young girl during an audience chat session that was held at the conclusion of one of their public presentations. During portions of the exorcism, when prayer is done, you can hear the demon acting wildly, and it originally refuses to give its name, both of which are quite common in cases of demonic possession. Eventually, we learn that there are not one, not two, but 4 demons possessing our victim, with one of them identifying themselves as Robert, a name associated with the son of Satan. So this footage was unreleased until after the passing of Ed and Lorraine, and it's believed they were told by the Catholic Church to specifically keep it under wraps. But their son-in-law doesn't have the same fear or respect for the church, depending on how you look at things, so I guess we have Tony Spera to thank. This next video is from 2014, and it's a ritual that was captured on camera by a man who heard the shrieks of a woman inside a sanctuary and filmed it through a peephole. This incident occurred at the Assumption of the Virgin Mary Church in Vanlove and DG in February of 2014, and the church's priest, Marek Dunda, confirmed the video is real. But he's like, if there's something filmed through a keyhole, there's nothing more to say about it. Which, like, okay, good at dodging the question, I guess. So obviously, because of the nature of the video, it's kind of hard to tell what's happening, but it appears that at least 2 people surround the woman, who can be heard screaming in absolute agony with momentary pauses in between the duration of the just under 2-minute long video. Daniel Trachta, who captured the video after hearing the screams, warns people in the description to watch the chilling footage while wearing headphones. When asked about the condition of the woman in the video, the priest said any details about her or her state were private. And don't get me wrong, while I'm glad the church is protecting her privacy, I just hope she was able to find solace and be healed of her demons. On April 5th of 1991, 2020 featured a segment that showed an actual Roman Catholic ritual of casting out demons. Videotaped at a nun's home in the suburban Palm Beach County, the segment shows the affected girl, referred to only as Gina, as she thrashes under the effect of ancient prayers. She's sprinkled with holy water, and you've got that classic cross pressed to the head. Obviously, because she's possessed, she's retching, she's writhing, she's yowling, she's baring her teeth. She's saying, "Get me out of here, me not want to leave." She's shrieking at the priest, and she even snaps her bonds. If the exorcism team hadn't tied her down, she might have actually levitated to the ceiling. At the time, the March 25th issue of US News and World Report carried no fewer than 5 articles on hell and devil. Because apparently at the time, it was like more than the heyday of the 1950s when it came to demonic stuff. And another poll released in the same year said that 55% of Americans believe in the devil and in demonic possession. So how does that tie into this? Well, we're talking about exorcisms, right? Speaking of which, the main exorcist in this report is only known as Father A. And going back to the sisters involved, we've got Lois Schaefer and the Reverend Walton Dockerow. And they took part in this, even though, technically off the record. Palm Beach Bishop J. Keith Simmons, who permitted the taping, issued only a little statement saying the devil really exists. He was powerful and active at work in the world today as through the centuries, which echoes a lot of other cardinals. And it was Cardinal John O'Connor's remark that there can be no question about the reality of the devil that initially drew the interest of the TV show for this exorcism. Eventually, after that, the church got so many requests from around the country to investigate cases of possession that they had to be like, we need somebody. Well, this fell to Reverend James LaBarre, a specialist in the occult, who looked into the initial claims and was like, okay, well, for starters, Gina was genuinely being tormented. According to the report, she was experiencing crazy psychotic episodes, visions of demons, dead people. The mom tried everything. She tried a spiritualist. She tried hospitals. You name it, she tried it. In the footage that we have today, at the time, the priest said she was being controlled by 10 spirits. So they met all the violent reactions by following the prayers and gestures of the rite. Apparently, this whole ordeal took like 6 hours, and apparently that's not uncommon for exorcism lengths. Before the procedure even began, Father A was like, yeah, it's terrifying. I could die tomorrow, I could be attacked, I could be taken over, which is it worth it, pal? Evil spirits like to take their time leaving a body, and not without a fight. And that leaves everybody drained, exhausted, and vulnerable. Also quoted is Dr. Warren Schlanger of Miami Children's Hospital. Also quoted is a doctor of a local hospital where Gina was treated before and after the exorcism, and she's like, yeah. And he said, even I don't know. Father A was troubled. He was believing that after this exorcism, the devil was disturbing his sleep, attempting to weaken and destroy him. But he said, hey, that's a price I gotta pay. I'm a church man against demons. American professional boxer Ryan Garcia recently alleged that Bohemian Grove, a place rumored to exist in the north of San Francisco, is not only real, but it's a place where he's seen some heinous stuff. Be careful watching, folks. This was during an X-Space interview with Andrew Tate earlier this year, and there was a video that actually went viral that shows an alleged satanic ritual. It was reportedly taken in the year 2000 by prominent conspiracy theorist Alex Jones because he was actually able to infiltrate Bohemian Grove about a couple of times after being denied a bazillion. And while the visual is obviously hazy, the audio is a little unclear, you can see some kind of ritual. We got like fireworks, we've got cloaked priests, which that checks a couple of my boxes for a satanic ritual. Additionally, Alex Jones's interview on the Joe Rogan Experience went viral because he's like, hey, yeah, when I trespassed, I saw effigies being burnt in front of a large owl shrine, which only further fuels the alleged satanic speculation. Well, the official Bohemian Club website is like, hey, we don't do anything secret or illegal or this doesn't exist. We all know better. There was actually an article in the Washington Post that revealed that members of the Manhattan Project met there regularly in the 1940s. Well, that's all, folks. I've been Alexa, your resident ookie spooky girly. See ya!